Good morning, dear students. Myself, Professor Sapna Sharma from Modern College, Business Administrative Campus, BBSCA Department. So, welcome back, dear students, once again to this Artificial Intelligence course. So, in our previous sessions, we have already studied a lot of stuffs with respect to the artificial intelligence. I have already made you people familiar about what exactly this artificial intelligence is, how it is so important for our day-to-day life for this whole world. Secondly, we have already studied a lot of history about the artificial intelligence. So in that particular session we already got to know that artificial intelligence is not a language, it is not a technology which was been invented just now, few years back. No, dear student. Artificial intelligence is a technology which was actually invented long time back, as I have mentioned into my sessions. Then we came about what are these agents into artificial intelligence, how they are so important for the artificial intelligence application implementation. And then the next session we have done on the basis of the different type of agents, on the basis of your requirement, on the basis of the circumstances, how we need to choose the agents. Then we have studied about the various type of applications that are being standing just because of the artificial intelligence. The base is artificial intelligence. Later on, we have done the concept so-called as machine learning. We have also done the different type of artificial intelligence. In that I have mentioned you the three different types. Whereas into our last session, we have gone through a concept so-called as machine learning. And into that session, I have already mentioned you that machine learning is not a different technology, dear student. It is one of the aspect, it is one of the feature which comes under artificial intelligence. So it is one of the principle that exist into the artificial intelligence. Later on, I have already mentioned you what are the importance of the machine learning, why we people are using the machine learning, the concept into our artificial intelligence application. Because with the help of machine learning, we give the the application or the device or the machine a kind of learning ability. How they are able to do that, how they are able to grab a learning ability, just because they believe onto their past experiences. They collect the data, we feed the data, or you can say that the data is being collected on the basis of the past experience with the help of the proper algorithm, and we are able to make a decision. We are able to make a decision means what? I am just acting as an application. How the application would be working if we use the machine learning concept basically. So this device would be using two things. One would be the past experience with respect to the data, and the second thing would be the algorithm. With the help of the combination of these two things, the decisions would be made. The actions and reactions would be created. Now, there is a big bifurcation into the machine learning also. On the basis of your application criteria, conditions, we people are judging or we people are deciding whether which type of machine learning should be implemented. So, our today's session is totally based on the different type of machine learning techniques or the algorithms basically. So, let's start and let's dig into this, what is exactly types of machine learning we are surrounded with. So dear student, basically when we talk about the types of machine learning, so there are in total three. First one is the supervised, second one is the unsupervised, and the third one is known as the reinforcement. So in our mind comes about what all these three terms are actually, how they are being bifurcated, how they are implemented, what are the examples of it. So let's dig into that also. So the very first term that comes about the supervised learning. It is one of the most familiar, or you can say the most popular type of the machine learning technique basically, and it is very easy also. Why it is so popular? Because it is very much easy to understand, and the implementation is also very easy. So whenever any application, any AI application which is having the implementation of the machine learning, and into that if it is using the supervised machine learning technique, then it is very much easy to understand the scenario, it is very much easy to implement it. So it's just like, what we have to do, we are already having certain stuffs in our hand, and we are just memorizing those stuffs actually. So the example which I have like mentioned in front of you, it's like, I'm just teaching a child, imagine a very small child. That small child cannot understand the text basically. That small child is not able to understand the alphabets and all. But that small child will be able to recognize the pictures basically. So what is supervised learning? Actually, supervised learning will be working in the same manner. We are using the cards, okay? We are using the pictures, and those pictures would be like, those pictures would be making place into the mind of that particular device. In the same manner, we are implementing supervised learning. Because we already know what we have to teach actually. We already know the appropriate data. So there is no such a difficulty to manage out the things. That is the most important aspect about the supervised learning. Next important term is what? Like, given data in the form of example with labels. Labels means what? We will be able to understand. See, for example, if I am having the apple picture, right? So after that picture, just, down to that particular picture, I will write down some text, apple. So I am giving the label to that particular picture, so that I should be able to understand both the thing. What is the picture? Okay. And what is the name of that particular picture? So the same thing is happening over here also. We are feeding the data, but that data would be having certain labels. And it is very much good. And it is very much like, ease for that device also to understand the things. So this type of data would be like basically feeded. So the prediction becomes very much easy for any of the machine, and they are able to recognize the things very much easily, and they try to respond it also very much fast. And when we feed the right amount of data into the correct format, then the prediction whether the answer is right or wrong, that can be also done very easily. So most of the time what happen, this type of learning will give you the appropriate answer, the exact answer. So it is a kind of relationship which is taking place between the label. Label means the data, the given data, okay, with the picture and the data. Both would be having the kind of a very good relationship. And it happens when you really want to make any particular device very much appropriate. When fully trained, the supervised learning algorithm will be able to observe a new, never before seen example and predict a good label for it. So supervised learning algorithm is a kind of algorithms which will make your particular product very much appropriate, so that you generate a result, you predict a result, but that predicted result would be good enough, or it would be sufficient. So let me move on to the next part, that this is the diagrammatical information. Now imagine what is happening over here. This is the knowing data. This is my model basically. This is my model. Model means my device. Okay. This is my model. And this model would be, it would be having this type of data. This is the known data. Known data means what? Already model, my machine would be able to know this particular data because this is feeded inside it. मॉडल में ऑलरेडी ये डेटा फीडेड है, राइट, ओके, और मैंने ऑलरेडी उसको रिस्पॉन्स भी फीड किया हुआ है. क्या रिस्पॉन्स फीड किया है कि ये जो नोन डेटा है इसका ये लेबल है, ये नोन डेटा है, नोन डेटा का ये लेबल है, ठीक है. This is the data and this is the label, and what this label is consist of, this label is consist of some text. Now what this text is, these are apples. Okay, fine. Now what happened, in front of the machine a new data comes. Imagine, now already there is a total information about the apple, how apple looks, what is the spelling of the apple, each and everything machine already knows. So in front of machine, if all of a sudden if any kind of apple comes, imagine agar apple ka image aata hai, so now what will happen, the model will recognize that particular image. Okay, first the machine will think about this new data, whether this data is feeded inside me or not. ऐसे कुछ type का is there any type of this the similar image with respect to the data also along with the label? If model finds that inside his database, then this model will be able to easily give the answer. So see, the new data, and with respect to new data, the new response is generated. So what is that new response? It is an apple. Here, this model was having the 3 apples. That is why the response was generated. These are apples. But here, with the help of the intelligence also, learning ability also, here we are having only one object, but this object looks similar to these particular images. So it will try to interpret a good response basically. This is what the supervised learning is telling you. Let me move to the next part. When you talk about the supervised learning is very much good when you talk about a singular task, means you are performing a single task at a single instant of time. So obviously if you are doing only one task at a time, so the feeding would be you can provide appropriate feeding also, more and more feeding of the data. And you are focused to any one of the tasks at a single instant of time. So you will try to do the work perfectly, accurately. And you will try to implement it. You want to achieve that perfection because you have only one task to do, right? So where you find these type of this type of supervised learning, where you find what type of applications exactly this supervised learning actually be followed. So here is advertisement popularity. Very first application, advertisement popularity. Selecting advertisement that will perform well is often a supervised learning task, obviously, because when we are selecting any advertisement, so we already know the data with respect to that advertisement. Already the advertisement is a kind of task which is having a lot of data. So as you know now, nowadays on internet a lot of advertisements are going on. That is so called as the digital marketing basically. You get the advertisement of various product. It could be anything any institute or any different type of product, whatever it is can be. It can be a shopping, it can be another stuff, it can be a course, whatever. You see a lot of advertisement onto your machine, right? Onto the internet. How they are able to visible onto it, because we are using such kind of learning algorithms. This make the popular way to advertise yourself or to just make your advertisement most popular. This is the way how the things would be moving on. And when you talk about the search engine, so it will search engine specifically use the supervised learning algorithm. Because at this instant of time, when you talk about this is the scenario where you have to feed a lot of data. A lot of data means what? How many users has clicked on to that advertisement? How many users has taken the information about that advertisement, interest about the advertisement, other stuffs. Next is spam classification. If you use a modern email system nowadays, email systems are changing. As you can see, your Chrome is also being changed a lot. There are a lot of changes inside it. Fine. So if you can use a modern email system, chance are you will be encountered a spam filter. Previously it used to not happen, right? Okay, spam filters regarding कोई technique नहीं implement की गई थी, but now when you see your modern email system, so they just filter the spam. Spam means what? The things which are not required by you, right? You are really not interested into that. They can be any fraud also. So that spam filter is also a supervised learning only. How that spam filter actually work? It is a kind of mechanism where we are just, feeding a lot of data, the known data. If this type of condition is fulfilled, that means what? This is a spam. So we are just making a lot of conditional based areas and we are feeding the data to that conditional based areas. If the condition comes true, that means what? It is a kind of spam. Feed email example and label spam or not. Means we are doing what? We are feeding the email, okay? And on the basis of the feeded email, we try to come to whether that particular email is spam or not. So how to do the filtration? We are just finding out whether this particular email is malicious or not. Whether it is consist of any kind of a kind of data which can be hazardous to our system, to any of the user. So many of these also behave in such a way that the user can provide new labels to the system and it can learn user preference. So sometimes what happens, this spam clarification is also not able to, because the data is being fed into the different manner. The things are changing a lot, dear student. A lot the things are changing. The things are behaving into the different way because everyone knows, yes, this system has come. So there is a security. Then we try to navigate the direction into the different manner. We are doing the same thing, but we are just using the different ways so that we can destroy the things. But ultimately, these are the machines. So they will try to manage out the things and try to give us the best result at the basic level. Next is the face recognition. This is the very famous biometric that we people are using currently onto your mobile phone. Okay, onto the doorsteps also we are able to see. This is face recognition is very big biometric the concept that we people are technique that we people are using. So face recognition is not only used for the biometric, but we use it onto our social media also. So here I have given you example. You use the Facebook, right? Most likely your face has been used in a supervised learning algorithm. Obviously they will find out. They will find out. Fine. They will recognize your face. How they are able to recognize your face, that you are this personality, your name is this, with the help of supervised learning only. So your face has been put as a data. It has been feeded into the system basically. Right? So the same thing happen with the different type of systems also. They take your photos, okay, and they whenever you just come and visit that particular site or that particular place once again, so they will recognize you with the help of the photo that they have actually taken up. They have fed it into their system and they try to guess whether you are an appropriate, whether you are an authenticate user or not. If you are authenticate user, then only you are allowed to do the the further things. So this is known as the supervised process only. You use the tag process, right? How you use the tag process? ये जो टैगिंग वाला जो कॉन्सेप्ट है वो सिर्फ हम टैगिंग करते हैं, बट उसके पीछे का लॉजिक हमको पता नहीं होता है. हाउ दिस tag take place? You tag the people. For example, you are having a photograph, so you are just try to tag the people. How it is able to do that? Because of this supervised learning algorithm. So it has a multiple layers to it. Okay, multiple layers means what? It is having a multiple layers of finding the faces and then identifying them and then finding out whether it is appropriate user or not. Then only they allow you to do the another functionalities. Let me move to the next part. This is the diagrammatical information about the example which I have given you about the spam. Enable the machine to be trained to classify observation into some classes. Means what happened, we just train the machine so that it do an observation onto the data, okay, and try out the decision on the basis of the data that has been fed. Okay, so for example, what happened over here? Imagine this is my particular machine, okay, and this is a kind of like model. So what we people are doing, we people are feeding a lot of data inside it. Okay, we people are feeding a lot of data inside it. What it is coming? It is coming new email. Imagine 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A lot of emails are there. So this particular algorithm would be making a categorical separation. What categorical separation it would be? It is a spam or it is not a spam. Right? So what happened exactly if I go with the diagrammatical representation? I got a mail. Okay, I got a mail. So I will be asking like whether it is a spam or not. So on the basis of the data this algorithm is having, on the basis of the data which has been fed, so intelligence would be used, and on the basis of intelligence they will tell you whether it is a spam or not. If it is a spam, they will give you answer it is a spam. If it is not spam, then answer would be given it is not a spam. So this algorithm would be having a lot of data inside it, a lot of feeding data inside it. Let me move to the next part. The next type of algorithm, that is known as the unsupervised learning or unsupervised machine learning algorithm. It is exactly opposite to your supervised. How the supervised algorithm was able to do the things on the basis of the data, the labeled data which was fed actually. But here it won't be like that. It is totally opposite, very much opposite you can say. Here you are not having any kind of feature which is labeled feature. No feature is at all labeled. Here you are using your own intelligence power basically. Here you are using your own intelligence power. Now how it takes place, let me just tell you. See here, as name suggests, unsupervised. Means we are not having any kind of information about what is there, what will happen, what to do, what not to do, nothing we don't. It would be a kind of all of a sudden type of thing that we have to do. Whereas in supervised, what used to happen in supervised, we know the data, we know the things, we know the circumstances, we have a lot of data inside it. And that data was also labeled type of data. But here in unsupervised learning, we are not having such kind of scenarios. It features no label instant. Our algorithm would be feed a lot of data and given the tools to understand the property of the data. Means we are feeding the data, a lot of data would be fed and we would be providing a tool. Okay, and what that tool would be doing, that tool would will make us to understand what exactly this data is. In supervised, it used to happen, we already know it, we have a lot of information, the accurate information, but here we have the data, but firstly we have to understand that data. So you can imagine the data which has been provided, that data is a raw data, it is not having any kind of accuracy level also. We have to filter it out. So from there it can learn to a group, to a cluster, and or organization the data in the way such that the human do. For example, if human is having a lot of data in his hand or in her hand, okay, in front of the human being there is a lot of data. Now what human being usually do? They try to grasp that particular data which is useful to them. They don't take the whole data. They try to form the group of the relevant data, okay, and they extract that group of relevant data and leave the unrelevant data over there. The same thing is happening over here also. So here we have to apply the algorithm so called as the intellectual algorithm basically. It is very much different, very much different. Okay, so let me move to the next part. When you talk about the unsupervised learning, so it is based on the data and its property. Whereas when you're talking about the supervised learning, it was based on the data and it's labeled. But here we are talking about the properties. So at the end of the day, you can say that unsupervised learning is a data driven, means we are just deriving the data and we are just finding out the property, then appropriate property of that data, and then we are trying to extract it. We are not using the wholesome data anyway. So it is very much interesting part, right? You really don't know who is who, what to do, what not to do. So we have to start from the scratch basically. So it is quite interesting because you would be getting a lot of knowledge out of it. You have to make your own way. You won't be having another person who will be making who will give you the way and you have to walk onto that way only. No, it is the actual type of implementation that you would be doing. So there is a lot of fun, an interesting area into your unsupervised learning, where you are having abundant of data is there, but that data is unlabeled. So we really don't know which is important and which is not important, which we should keep and which we should not keep. So ultimately we would be studying that data and we would be gaining a lot of information, a lot of knowledge basically. So I can add one statement that unsupervised learning is not only the data driven, in fact it is the knowledge driven also. Own knowledge formulation would be done. Next, this is the diagrammatical information. This is the input data, the raw data which is given. See, a bulk of data. Means मैंने क्या किया यहाँ पे फ्रूट की इंफॉर्मेशन से भरा हुआ पूरा का पूरा डेटा मैंने अपने मॉडल के अंदर फीड करने की कोशिश कर दी. वेयर आई हैवंट डन एनी बाइफर्केशन. This is apple, this is mango, this is cherry, this is lychee, this is papaya, this is pomegranate, right? This is pineapple. I haven't done any bifurcation. So this is unlabeled data. As you can see, this is consolidated data. Consolidated data means mixed data, where we don't have any bifurcation so far. So now what happened here? The model means what? The device would be taking this data, okay, and it will try to recognize this pattern. It will see the pattern perfectly. It will see the pattern perfectly. It will do the analyzation onto that pattern, and after doing the analyzation, it will try to bifurcate. It will try to derive its own new data out of the raw data. So you can say this is the raw data, dear student, and this is the driven data. The whole data, the whole raw data has been bifurcated into the different types. ठीक है? For example, this raw data is known as the fruit data, and this fruit data has been bifurcated into the apple, level 1, level 2 is mango, level 3 is, for example, lychee or anything, pear, whatever it is. So I hope this particular diagrammatical information is understandable by you. So from this diagram only you can understand that how much this model is gaining the knowledge. We are not doing any spoon feeding over here. We are just feeding the raw data. We are not doing anything else out of it. But with the help of this raw data, this model is able to generate a huge amount of knowledge so far, dear students. So this is actually very much interesting for this model to understand the raw data, to do the bifurcation, to do the filtration, and then try to show the data in front of us. Now what will happen? This bifurcated data has been produced, and this bifurcated data would be used for the further procedures or for the further operations basically. So I hope that you people are understanding it. Let me move to the next part. Next part is the various type of areas where you are finding the supervised learning. So the very first one is the recommender system. Recommender system means what? We are recommending the things in front of you. Now what exactly it is doing? The recommendation means what exactly? What you are doing, what you are trying to tell. Recommendation, you are able to see the recommendation onto these various examples I have mentioned, like YouTube, Netflix. So let us go into the dig manner. Like whenever you people just browse onto your YouTube, or you just browse onto your Netflix. Now what this YouTube and Netflix is doing, they're using the unsupervised learning algorithm basically. A lot of data is being passed on to them. A lot of data is being fed. N number of data is being fed. So now what will happen? The model will take that a lot of data, and that model will analyze you. The model will analyze the the type of search you people are doing, or the type of browsing, the browsing type you people are performing. What is your favorite thing that you people are searching? First of all, it will try to do the bifurcation, and as you see into the Netflix, you find the bifurcation, right? There is a bifurcation of the web series, there is a bifurcation of movies, recommended movies, new movies, like that. There are a lot of bifurcation, there are a lot of classifications basically. So what happened? Netflix first of all do the bifurcation, will be providing a lot of data in front of you, but that data would be in a proper formatization. Later on, what happened? They will try to analyze your browsing, how you people do the browsing, and on the basis of your browsing, they will try to encounter certain things. What you really searching for? Okay. Once they understand the searching pattern, they will put that type of video only, that type of content only in front of you. So whenever you will be visiting Netflix or YouTube, so you will be able to find your browsing type of data in front of you, so that you don't have to do a lot of stuffs. It will be very much easy to just get the videos or get the content without doing any problem. So you can imagine how unsupervised learning is playing with your brain. They actually, with the help of unsupervised learning, they try to understand your mentality, they try to understand your interest basically, what you are really seeking. The next type is buying habit. Very much famous, dear student. Very best example, I must say. Best example, buying habit. You people do a lot of window shopping. You people do a lot of online shopping. A lot of stuffs are going on online. So you can see how this e-commerce website are able to get what you really want. So next time they will try to show that type of data only. Wherever you go, they will follow you. It's like, for example, I want to buy certain XYZ product, okay, and I went to the Amazon. I searched out, but I never bought it. I didn't buy it on that particular day. I haven't done any purchase on that day. I have just done a kind of searching, and I try to add it onto my cart. So what happened, that the browsing pattern would be analyzed by that website, that shopping site, and they will use this browsing category of yours, and they will follow you everywhere. Wherever you will go, they will try to recommend you the same product with different type of variation in front of you, because what they thought, you like this product but it was not that great, you want some options, so they will try to give you the options. Wherever you will go for the browsing, they will do the advertisement. They will show you that category, or that category, or that type of product in front of you. It is likely that your buying habit are contained in a database. Means your buying habit would be stored into any of the database somewhere, in somehow in any of the situation, they would be stored basically. They will be using your the searching types, your searching categories. These buying habits can be used for unsupervised learning algorithm. Yes, यही buying searching habits जो होती हैं, searching habit हो या buying habit हो, ये सारी की सारी habits जो होती हैं, वो unsupervised algorithm use करता है. and they try to make a group of all those things which are similar to this particular search. They belong to the same purchasing segments. So this is how the things are moving on, dear students. Next, when we come about the grouping user logs. Now basically what happened when you talk about the grouping user logs? Here we are just finding out how many users has been logged back, actually how many users has been logged into the system. So we are just recognizing the faces, or we are just recognizing somehow some identity is being recognized. So we can use unsupervised learning to group the users log and their issues also. How many times this user has been logged, how many users has been logged into the 24 hours, or is there any kind of issue with respect to the user's log or not. So that is also maintained, dear student. That is also maintained. Like whenever we browse anything, whenever we see any particular stuff or whatever we people are doing the task, that is being analyzed perfectly. And they analyze is there any kind of issue the customer is facing? Is there any kind of an issue that is being faced by the user? If they find, if they rectify, they try to resolve it. This can help companies to identify what are the issues with respect to the customers, and they will try to resolve that issue so that the customer should not get any problem. The customer should not face any kind of delay. There should be no problem with respect to the customer so far. So this is the way how the issues are being resolved, and this is the way how your particular, your current using website, wherever you go, this digital world is being it is being flourished day by day. How we are flourishing it day by day? Because we are updating it, we are updating it, we are renovating it. And how we people are renovating it? Because we identify the user's requirement, we try to find out what type of problem the user is facing, and on the basis of the issues that users are having, because every issue won't be raised by the users. Some of the issues we also need to analyze, and on the basis of the analyzation we try to re-implement that thing. We are not creating new, creation is not done. These are not the embedded systems that you have to create it new. These are the systems which can be renovated, which can be recreated, or which can be updated simultaneously on the basis of the the current world scenarios, the current world requirements. By this way only we can connect the people with our product, with our website, with our digitization. Because if they find that the services are good, they will try to use it. But if they find that services are not good, not that appropriate, then what will happen? Automatically the user will fail to do the things so far. So dear student, today we have completed the two different type of learning algorithm. One was the supervised and second one was the unsupervised. I hope that you people have find out the bifurcation, okay, and the division, or differences between the supervised and the unsupervised. Let me just make some clear some points more clear in front of you, so that you should get the end result also. In supervised learning, I have already told, it is very much easy for the implementation. It is very much easy to understand. Why? Because the data which is being fed it is having the proper labeling. If the proper label is being provided, so it is very much easy for the rectify to rectify the things. We try to do the comparison between the new type of data and the data which is there into our system, which is existing into our system. And if we find any kind of connection between the new data and the existing data, we try to relate them, and then we do the decision. We put a response in front of the user. We give a kind of decision to the user. But the problem was that whenever you talk about the supervised learning, at that time you have to perform only single task at a single instant of time. This is not at all good for the multiple tasking. But when you talk about the unsupervised learning, there you are feeding a lot of data, but you are not at all having the labeled data. So you have to do the analyzation on to your own basis. You have to appropriately find out the best mechanism and you have to implement it. So you would be having a lot of data. You have to rectify the correct data. You have to filter it. Okay. And then you have to generate the appropriate, accurate data. And then you would be using that particular data for the further functionalities. In this particular session, I would be teaching you only the two of the learning algorithm. The next session would be conducted onto the third learning algorithm, that is reinforcement. I hope into this session you would have learned about what is supervised and unsupervised. You would have connected with both of the learning algorithm and you will try to implement it. Into the next session, dear student, we will continue from the next type of learning machine learning algorithm, machine learning type algorithm. That is the third type. I hope this session is benefited to you people. It would be providing a kind of advantage to you people into your knowledge, into your learning. Thank you so very much. See you soon into my next session of artificial intelligence course. Thank you so very much. Stay safe.